doctor.
Good morning.
All right, so you see a headline that says every girl tested in this study had these potentially deadly chemicals. Some of these cause cancer in their makeup, and you get a little concerned. What's the truth?
The truth is that an average teenager uses 17 personal care products a day. 17. Now, in this small group, 20 girls, they each had, they tested 25 chemicals. Every girl had at least anywhere between 11 to 16 chemicals in their bodies. So now this is now concerning because the levels of the chemicals were very high. These chemicals in particular here basically interfere a lot with hormone development. They interfere with reproductive problems, obesity, cancer rates. So when you start now exposing young girls to all of these chemicals, it's going to be a big problem, and we have to be very careful. If you look at the rates of premature puberty, in other words, girls that are getting breast development at the age of 8 and 9, early menstrual cycles, obesity, and some chronic illnesses, especially in teenagers and young adults, you begin to wonder whether the excessive exposure of these chemicals is harming our children.
Okay, but for mothers and fathers sitting at home right now who as a result of this right now want to run and ban their children from wearing makeup, what do they actually need to look for? If they get into that fight, what actually should the girls be staying away from? Because it seems so ambiguous when you read the study.
Well, you have to first, you've got to go from 17 things a day to a few a day. You have to minimize the amount of chemicals you put in your body. Nail polish, all the things that girls put in their faces and things like that. You have to be very careful. The shampoos, the antibacterial soaps. You got to cut down the chemical exposure. We have a list of all the chemicals and things you should avoid in our website here at Fox News Health. We're going to give you a list of some of the chemicals that in this particular study have been linked with illnesses and chronic problems for your health. But you have to you have to look at the ingredients, and you have to look at all these chemicals. Remember, we're finding all of
Right,
these...
but Dr. Manny, wait, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but some of the problematic ones are supposedly not listed in the ingredients list. In particular, the ones that are used to create fragrances in a product, and those are the ones, according to this report, that have been linked to cancer. So how are parents to know?
Well, things like paraben, for instance, you just had it up there. For instance, paraben has been around since the 1920s. Now, in the 1920s, we did not have the science that we have today. Some of these chemicals have been around since the early 20s, and now is when we start linking these chemicals with some of the chronic problems that we've seen.
No, but Dr. Manny, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but parabens are listed. If parents want to find out if parabens are in there, they're typically in the ingredients list. It's these other things that are problematic. They call them synthetic musks, and I can't even pronounce the word, phthalates. But they're not listed, so how are parents to know?
No, musk is just a generic name. There's a lot of sub-classifications of the musk chemicals that you can actually look at, and we'll have that in our website. So you can look these things up. I mean, all the information is there, and you can look them up. The same thing with the triclosan. The triclosan chemical, which is a kind of chemical, basically, it's this antibacterial. It's the kind of favorite thing that all these antibacterial soaps say, kills bacteria. If you ask any scientist, they'll tell you, you don't need those chemicals to kill bacteria when you wash your hands or you take a daily bath.
Yeah, we've heard
and that chronic exposure is going to be a problem.